Hello, my name is Ernest Lee. I'm here today with Dr. Dennis Massey, president of Pitt Community College, the great institution here in your local neighborhood. How they said, one of the best kept secrets, and I don't know, with all the students they have out there now, I think the secret might be out. But I'd like to welcome here, and we're going to talk a little bit about Pitt Community College. And first of all, let me welcome you to the show.
Well, thank you for having me, Ernest. It's always a pleasure to be on this program and interact with you. I think the voters learn a lot by the discussions that we have together.
Absolutely. And speaking of the voters, we're going to be talking about something today, the bond referendum that's going to be on the ballot with Pitt Community College. And first of all, we'll dive right in. Tell us a little bit of what is the bond referendum is all about.
Well, the Board of Trustees submitted to the County Commissioners in May a 10-year capital improvement plan. That improvement plan had over $120 million worth of projects. Our Board of Trustees felt we needed to get started in addressing those needs soon because our enrollment is continuing to grow and we have very crowded quarters on campus. So they proposed to the County Commissioners in June a bond referendum for $19.9 million. I'll describe the two components of that in a second, but the County Commissioners discussed this at length, talking about other options for funding, and finally decided that a bond referendum would be the appropriate way to go. In July, they voted to approve putting this on the ballot on November 5th, and so we're in the midst of a campaign to inform the voters about what's at stake for Pitt Community College and of course ask them for their support. It is on the bond referendum on November 5th. It is on the ballot. It will be at every precinct in Pitt County, and so we would love for all voters to come out and express their opinion.
Okay, and one of the reasons for the bond, I guess as you were speaking, the enrollment growth at Pitt Community College. Tell us a little bit about the growth, and I know people have seen some things in the paper about the growth, but elaborate a little bit on the growth of the college.
Well, Pitt Community College is a major part of the North Carolina Community College system. Within the system there are 58 colleges, and Pitt Community College is the 7th largest, the biggest in the East. And we've also continued to grow during this recession that is going through our communities and our economy. In fact, last year, Ernest, we were the fastest growing of all 58 community colleges, and only 6 colleges had positive growth in enrollment last year. We went up 6% last year. So we are bulging at the seams in terms of being able to meet the demand of students. And we've highlighted 2 major priorities that are our highest priorities, but we're making very good use of the facilities that we've had. We've researched many different options. We're using facilities in the evenings, on weekends. We're doing many more online courses, but that's not enough, really. And the 2 programs that we have proposed, I think, are fair and very much needed.
Okay. Before we get into some specific questions that I'd like to ask you about the bond, it's about two programs actually. So tell us a little bit about these 2 programs or these 2 buildings that you're looking to get.
Sure. Our number 1 priority is the science building, a new science building. This plan was on our 2005 master plan. It's now 2013, okay. 8 years later, and it's needed more now than ever. You know, science is one of those subjects that can't be offered as much online and requires laboratories. And our health sciences and natural science programs have just grown and grown to serve the needs of people in our community, to serve the needs of employers. And STEM, or science, technology, engineering, and math, is at the core of most of our programs at PCC. From biotechnology to general education. You know, if you're going to go start on a bachelor's degree, you're going to have to take some science courses as well as other general education courses before you go on into a major. So science is at the core, and that's the highest priority. We would want to relocate our biotechnology program. Now it's offered on Green Street, north of the river, in what was to be temporary quarters, but
Right.
now we've been in that facility for 10 years,
Right.
and we've way outgrown our capacity, and we need to relocate that on the main campus, partly because our science, our biology, and our biotechnology programs have some shared spaces that they could utilize, and we feel it would be more cost-effective to have them together.
It sounds like it would be more convenient for the students.
It would definitely
somewhat.
be more convenient for the students, and it would allow us to increase our productivity in terms of the number of graduates we produce, and those are in high demand at local companies like Metrics, DSM, and many others, not to mention those students who are going to go on to East Carolina University in
Exactly.
bachelor's degree programs. We would also relocate our physics, astronomy, and geology programs in that facility and offer advanced manufacturing, robotics instruction. So we are looking at many aspects of STEM, that's science, technology, engineering, and math, and adding advanced manufacturing to the mix. So we feel that this center will not only meet our immediate needs in Pitt County, but our long-term needs, especially when we consider economic development.
Right. And the other one was the BLET
The
program, I
second
believe?
is a law enforcement
enforcement.
training center. When I came 10 years ago, Ernest, we offered law enforcement training in the back of the Humber building, way under what they should have had. We relocated them temporarily to the Greenville Center.
Right.
But continuing education has continued to grow so rapidly that we need now to move them into another space, and we've identified an existing building just on the other side of Sam's Club from our campus. So we'd like to purchase that building, retrofit it, and then move law enforcement training into that facility and utilize the existing space at the Greenville Center for expanded industry training. We've had many calls from local companies about industry training, and we will be able to do that more. We would be able to do that more than we can now with this added space. We also, as you know, in your area of continuing education, have increased the number of courses we offer in short-term training. And instead of fighting over space, we would have dedicated space for that at the Greenville Center. So both these two needs will serve the needs of our community. The law enforcement, everyone depends for safety on our law enforcement officers, and we do more training than any other community college in eastern North Carolina. In fact, last year we did 5,000 law enforcement training sessions.
Wow.
That's both with people training to be law enforcement officers and people who are already in the field in corrections, criminal justice, police
coming from
work.
across the state.
It's across the state, but it's focused here in Pitt County. And it's a great benefit to Greenville Police Department, to the Sheriff's Office, and to many other people in our areas. So I think it's an investment for safety and for the future in both these areas.
Now, I would probably ask a few questions that may be on people's mind when you're talking about the referendum here. A lot of people, they passed through Pitt Community College the last few years, and there's a lot of buildings. Several buildings have come up, some not very nice buildings. Why aren't those buildings, are they being utilized like they should? And obviously you're telling us here now that we need more.
We do, Ernest. Pitt Community College has been in a deficit of space, a major deficit for many, many years, over 20 years. The new buildings are tremendous assets for us. The Construction Industrial Tech building, the Russell Classroom building are being used intensively, and we will continue to use and overuse those buildings. But we are the most crowded of all 58 community colleges by a long shot. And even when you compare us to universities and private colleges, no one is as crowded as PCC. And what that means is not just that we're crowded, kind of scrunched in, but also that we're not able to provide the courses that students need for degrees and certifications. That's what is holding some of our students up to get into the workforce. So we've got to move more quickly to do that, and these spaces will definitely help us with that.
Well, why wouldn't you be able to have more classes on the internet and have more evening classes?
Well, we do offer a lot of courses in the evening and on the weekend and through the internet. In fact, I think I saw a statistic, we're offering 24% of our sections on the internet right now. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
The problem with science courses, Ernest, is that many of them have a laboratory experience. That's difficult to simulate online. We've done some of it, but for most disciplines and levels of instruction, we need to have the hands-on work of a lab. So science is probably the least likely to put on an online course, and we need the physical space. We've been sharing spaces with health sciences. That's worked for a while, but we expanded our nursing program significantly from 150 to 200 students in that program, and we need more dedicated space for that. So something had to give, so the science building will help us tremendously.
Now, when you have this bond referendum that we're going to talk a few minutes here, but and I still would have the question of, couldn't you just maybe raise tuition on the students to cover the cost? And I don't want the students to get mad at me, but I would like to ask the question on alternative sources.
Well, let me describe the bargain that the state of North Carolina made with the local counties 50 years ago when they started the community colleges. First off, the state would provide the personnel costs, the salaries, and the equipment that we would need for these programs. The county would provide the facilities, their upkeep, utilities, security, that sort of expense. We have utilized a lot. We've brought a lot of state funds into Pitt County. In fact, this year we're bringing $43 million worth of state money into Pitt County that would not be here otherwise, because they're paying the salaries and they're providing the equipment for what the county is providing in terms of facilities. But the county also is responsible for building the new buildings, and we were able to build a few buildings with the local sales tax option, those new buildings that you mentioned. The problem there is that sales tax receipts have dropped off a little bit, and they've borrowed against future receipts, but they're not going to be able to have any funding from the local sales tax until 2020. So it'll be 7 years from now. And even then, there will be much more pressure to put some of that money towards renovating the Chicad School. So we know that we will be further down the list and less able to utilize local sales tax dollars. So it's part of the commitment of Pitt County to provide the funding for the facilities, and the bond referendum will help us do that.
Okay. A couple other quick questions that I would ask is probably, you use tax dollars to support students that are coming from other counties to the college here that attend PCC. Is that not somewhat of an issue?
Well, first off, the state sets up the community colleges for all of them to be open to anyone. Open access is at the heart of our mission. And so there's no effort to get the Pitt County people to only go to Pitt Community College. We have many students in Pitt County who go to Beaufort County Community College or other local community colleges. Also, we have some of their residents who come to Pitt Community College. We offer a broad variety of programs, many more than some other schools. So, there's a little bit of balance of payments there, or balance of trade between students coming in and students going out. But the tuition rate is the same for all students, and we cannot give any extra fee or cost to any student coming in. In fact, we can't show a favoritism towards Pitt County students. They're all treated the same. The number of students that we have from outside North Carolina is very small. Less than 1% of our students are from outside the state. But within the state, we're open to all students, and we have a majority of Pitt County students who are in our programs, but it is open to all students. And frankly, our area is a mixed area now. Many people live in Pitt County and work in Lenoir County or work in Beaufort County, and vice versa. There's a lot of commuting going on. So the boundaries of the county are somewhat artificial in terms of economic development.
Okay, and I would, one a question that's burning me is, can't you get some of the lottery funds for this? Is an educational lottery. Tell us.
Many people ask that. The lottery funds will support expansion of facilities for the public schools, K through 12, but they will not and are not allowed to provide support for community college facilities. Some of our students do receive scholarships out of the lottery funds, but that's the only way we benefit from the lottery.
Okay, outstanding. I'm very glad that you came today to talk about this bond referendum, and I hope we cleared up some questions that some people may have. And there's a lot of information out there about the bond, and if you need more information, you can call Pitt Community College at 493-7200. You can ask for the president's office if you need some information.
You can go on the website.
On the
The Pitt
website?
Community College website has a wealth of information related to the bond referendum.
Outstanding. So we look for you for the vote on November the 5th. Every precinct will have this on their ballot. So in every neighborhood, every municipality in Pitt County. So we look forward to you going to vote on November 5th. And as always, Dr. Massey, we certainly appreciate you giving us information about Pitt Community College.
We urge everyone out there to tell your friends and neighbors about this issue. It is a vote for the support of Pitt Community College. It's an investment for the future.
Right.
And I think that it's a positive move towards economic development, so we thank you for your support.
And I would conclude this by saying that as our SGA president would say, Laquan Rogers would say, this is not a want. This is a need.
It is, definitely.
Outstanding. Thank you, Dr. Massey, for sharing the information with us, and we look forward to the November vote.
Well, thank you, Ernest.
Okay. Thank you, and remember, go to the polls November 5th.